Man, as an Army chaplain, I want to say about 90% of what I've done is marriage counseling. It's just always been like that. Life happens to young folks in the military. I've said this before. It happens about 100 mile an hour faster than it does in the civilian world. I want to say the divorce rate might be 50% in the civilian world. It's higher than that in the military world. It's higher than that in combat arms formations, and it's higher than that in special operations formations. It is a nasty, nasty thing. Communication is obviously key. You've got to maintain the relationship while you're gone because you're having intimate moments downrange. Whenever somebody dies in your midst, that's an intimate moment. And we don't talk about those things. That's kind of like bedroom talk for soldiers downrange. Those are sacred things that we don't talk about. Then you've got your wife and you come home and there's a big chunk of your life that you're not discussing with her and she knows nothing about. This sort of a thing, post deployment and reintegration, this happens over and over again. I remember a young man, special forces operator, E7, coming in my office and his wife. And that joker came home and he had a beautiful wife who wanted him home. And he didn't want to sleep at home. He slept in the team room for weeks, did not want to go home and sleep in bed with his wife. Okay, that's obviously a big red flag. So what's going on? And it came down to that intimacy question. She wanted to know stuff that he didn't feel like she had a right to know because it was sacred amongst that team member. They had a couple KIAs. And she didn't understand why he wouldn't tell her. He didn't understand why he didn't want to tell her. And it came down to that and an acknowledgement of that. Her sensitivity, like, hey, this was pretty sacred. This is pretty intimate. This is pretty, I want to say, nastily intimate. It's really rough stuff. That's why veterans go and hang out at the VFW because they can talk about that sort of a thing. But discussing it with your wife, then there's wives that don't want to hear all that. Spare me the bloody details kind of a thing. But you need to get this out of you some kind of way because when it sits there, it just festers. And so it needs to come out, and your spouse needs to go with you to that level of hell where you've been to achieve true oneness. It's sacrifice, what you talked about, Father Chris. Sacrifice for the military spouse and sacrifice for the military member. And it really demands a much higher level of sacrifice and commitment. And no matter what, I'm here for you than it does even in the civilian world where marriages fail.